And we all had our favorite classes in high school, but what about the most useful of them? For today's On Our Mind, we're asking, what is the most useful high school class?
You know, I think you and I agree on it, but I think the title of it, is where it gets a little bit tricky here. Some kind of financial class here. I call it consumer ed, but some kind of financial class that kind of teaches us how to budget money, how to write checks, or.
So you changed your mind?
No, I call it consumer ed, but I think it kind of teaches us, you know, how to write checks, how to budget your money.
I remember earlier you were talking about like teaching you how to cook and teaching you how to sew and things like that.
No, I didn't say that. I said consumer ed.
Interesting.
So I said consumer ed first. So I was, because that's what I said, which I only got a semester of that in high school. And I feel you need more of that because that's kind of the biggest thing that's kind of under-taught in schools. And I hear a lot of people say that now is because you need to learn how to write checks, how to budget and everything too, because I'm sure a lot of people these days, and I'm sure a lot of high schoolers, maybe a lot of college kids can probably say they probably want more of that skill to be able to learn how to budget, how to be able to just know how to use our money wisely.
I agree. I think it's incredibly important. We only had a semester in Tomahawk back in my day. It was called personal finance.
Okay,
and it was
for me it was consumer ed, so it's titled differently.
Yeah, we had a something I can't remember. We had a consumer ed as well, but that was cooking and sewing and you know, health kind of as well.
Oh, so it's titled very differently for you.
Very differently. And but that was, again, they changed, I think, names of that class like 3 different times. They were trying to find, I don't know what they were trying to,
that is
you know.
so weird how it's titled so differently from your school to my school.
I'm certain now it's titled something else as well. But anyway, I liked the personal finance. I didn't think they had enough of it. They only had 1 semester. And I liked the fact that they had you writing checks. The most beneficial thing was probably writing the checks. A lot of people know that you need money to purchase things, and for whatever reason, they gave us this digital game where you had to like choose your career, and like then you would pay your rent and you'd pay your car payments and insurance payments. But it was all just incredibly not realistic,
because it was not useful.
It wasn't incredible. It was useful, but it wasn't really that useful because you could just pick whatever career. They're like, oh, I want this sort of house, I want this sort of car, I want this sort of lifestyle. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to pick a job that pays me $200,000, and that was an option. And it's just, you know, usually you don't just roll into those things. It would have been a little more beneficial to teach you how to open, what's the different types of savings accounts? What are the different types of checking accounts? What are investments, CDs, you know, things like that. You know, what's an IRA, Roth IRA? You know, when should you be investing? Stuff like that. That would have been a lot more beneficial instead of playing a video game every day for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or 4 months.
And another thing you need to bring back too before we switch over here, I know we're short on time, cursive, because you need to write your checks in cursive. The only thing I know how to sign in cursive anymore is my name. Otherwise, the rest of the check I have to write in print because I cannot sign my checks in cursive except my name.
Interesting take. Yeah, it is important to know cursive, but that's more of an elementary thing.
Yeah, I got caught up in that whole debate. But anyway, we're short on time. Otherwise, we can keep this discussion going.
But we can talk some more this morning. We're going to be talking about a bowling alley that's going to be reopening in the Wausau area.
But first, Howard is in a Mr. Food test kitchen with a recipe for orange cream bars.